Okay, I'm going to talk about the new Green Deal on this vlog. I'll just kind of get to the main point first and then do the background stuff later. The main point is we need to write or call our senators and congressmen to support the new Green Deal, and I think we need to do it within the next couple days because some of the articles I was reading indicated that this is coming, could possibly be coming for a vote this week. So kind of today or tomorrow or very soon, we need to write or call to our senators or congressmen. I'm living abroad, so I'm not going to be making a phone call. But if you're living within the United States, you could make a phone call. They do say that phone calls are sometimes more effective than writing. I'll link in the bottom to just kind of the simple US government find your representative websites. I don't have a lot of particular tips for writing or calling your senators or congressmen. I've not done this in years, but I need to get back into it. We all need to get back into it, which is part of the point of this video. This is part of a video series I'm trying to do on ways that we can help fight against global warming. I'm hoping to do kind of one of these videos every 2 weeks. I did the first video 2 weeks ago. It was a bit of a mess, like most of these vlogs are, because I do them unscripted. Actually, it was more than a bit of a mess. It was particularly a mess. A lot of these vlogs are messes because I just do them unscripted. But it was particularly unfortunate with that one maybe because it was something that I was hoping to kind of explain what I'm going to be doing and kind of launch into a series of these in which I do one of them every 2 weeks. So I was thinking to myself, yeah, boy, that was a mess. Maybe this week I'll just try and redo it. You know, maybe script it a little bit better, kind of better explain why I'm concerned about this, what I hope to get out of this vlogging series, kind of what my goals are. But I've decided not to do that because this issue is time sensitive. Like I can't vlog about this 2 weeks later because it could already be voted on now. So we need to talk about this for this week, and then possibly, I don't know, 2 weeks from now I don't know what I'm going to vlog about. Right, so one of the things I was talking about 2 weeks ago in the initial vlog that was a bit of a mess is saying I'm concerned about global warming. I want to do what I can, but I don't know what I can do. And I said I want to use this vlog to explore options, but I don't really know what I can do other than think about ways that I can be more environmentally responsible myself and maybe donating money to organizations and keeping an eye on the news and watching for when environmental legislation comes up, and then writing to your congressman. That third one is all of a sudden relevant now because we've got the new Green Deal and it could be up for a vote. So this is where that angle comes in, and it's something we can all do to try and make an impact on this. So I've been trying to research this new Green Deal. It's a non-binding resolution, which means none of this will actually become law. It just indicates the intent of the House or the Congress. So part of me was like, oh, what's the point then? It's not even worth writing about. But here's the thing. This could very well be an indication of the way the wind blows in the future. And the public reaction to this could be an indication if the congressmen are paying attention, and they usually are. For example, if this does not get a lot of grassroots support, then Congress is going to take notice of that. And the next time an environmental issue comes up, they're going to be like, oh, remember that new Green Deal, it just got killed and the public hated it. Where on the other hand, if this gets a ton of support, then the next time another environmental issue comes up, something that does have the force of law, then people will be like, oh yeah, public support for that new Green Deal was overwhelming. So I think it's worth kind of writing your congressmen, your senators, and your House of Representatives to just let them know that you support this. The other concern, which has been talked about by a lot of media organizations, is that there's a lot of liberal ideology mixed in with this new Green Deal. You're right. So, my thoughts on this. This is another thing that actually I was thinking about maybe doing an entire separate video on somewhere down the line. But the current events have kind of forced my hand on this to talk about this week rather than sometime in the future. But what I've been thinking a lot lately is there's no reason why global warming should be a liberal issue. I mean, everybody is going to benefit from getting this under control. So why is this part of the conservative liberal divide? Like, everybody should be on board with it. And as far as I can tell, the only reason it's a political issue is because we've gotten ourselves so divided politically now as a culture that whatever the liberals are for, the conservatives are against, and vice versa. So because the liberals care so passionately about global warming, conservatives are against it. I think it might just be as simple as that. That's not only my own idea. I've read other people who've taken kind of similar issue. Philip Gold, who's a conservative, wrote a book years ago called Take Back the Right, in which he argued that the right wing has become so reactionary, they just want to be against whatever liberals are for, and that's exactly how they ended up on the other side of the environmental movement. So, part of this, of course, is not all liberals' faults. Some of this antagonism lies at the foot of conservatives. But going forward, it's not a question of whose fault it is. We need to make this a nonpartisan issue. Like, we need to just get rid of all the politics around this and emphasize to conservatives that this is in their interest, and just not have global warming be a liberal issue. So that's my opinion on that. That's something I've been thinking about expanding upon at more length at one point, but it's something I've been thinking for a while now. So consequently, when this new Green Deal came out, and I've been researching into it, and it does look like it does have some liberal baggage attached to it. Now, I'm a socialist myself, so I'm not against any of this per se. But it's a question of strategy. And I think the strategy for global warming is we need to get everybody on board with it as soon as possible. And if we try and, if we wait for the socialist revolution until we try and get global warming under control, human race may not have that long. We need to kind of get global warming under control first, and then everything else is secondary. That being said, so I would have done it differently, is the point I guess I want to make. That being said, this is the bill we have before us now. And if this gets creamed in Congress, then that could potentially affect the future of environmental legislation. So even though if I would have written this, I would have depoliticized it, this is what we've got now. So I think we should give this as much support as we can. Also, that being said, again, another point, some of this does make sense to tie in jobs with environmentalism. Because, I mean, on one hand, we're losing a lot of manufacturing jobs in America. On the other hand, to combat global warming, we're going to need to completely invest in a whole bunch of new infrastructure and new technologies and new solar plants, and all this stuff is going to have to be manufactured. So I can definitely understand the impulse to tie these two together. And you know, they should be tied together, because we don't want to talk about environmentalism just as a job killer. But some of the language of the bill does seem to do more than just talk about more public sector jobs. It does seem to be using kind of liberal language and talking about rights to work and indigenous rights and stuff like that, which again, I'm all in favor of. But we've got a very limited time to get climate change out of control, and it's dangerous to play politics with it. Yeah, I don't know. That's my opinion. Let me know if you think I'm wrong on that. The other thing you hear over and over again in the media is it's unrealistic and it's going to cost way too much. I was looking at this, and it is very ambitious, but I think we're at the point now where this is what it's going to take. So I know this is going to require a lot of overhaul, but yeah, we're at the point now where this is what we need, and that reality hasn't hit everybody yet. But the sooner people start realizing this, the easier the transition into the future is going to be. So even at the most conservative estimates about what global warming is going to do, some people, the most conservative estimates are that, you know, kind of civilization will continue as normal, but we're just going to have to spend an enormous amount of money combating the effects of climate change in the future. So even given that kind of relatively benign estimate, the economic forecast is it's going to cost way less money to deal with it now than it is to kind of deal with the effects in 50 years. That's the more benign estimate. The more cataclysmic estimates, I mean, you've been reading this in the paper as much as I have, more cataclysmic estimates are an entire collapse of civilization. The end of the civilized world as we know it. So it's worth doing this stuff, and as much as this is going to require a lot of changes and a lot of money, it's something that needed to be done 20 years ago, and as the sooner people realize that this kind of massive spending and this massive overhaul is what we need, you know, I guess the better. So I don't think the bill. I don't think the bill is unrealistic, even though it is kind of a big shock to people to kind of look at exactly what we need to do in order to combat climate change. But that's kind of been the inconvenient truth all along. To borrow Al Gore's phrase, people just haven't been wanting to admit it until now. So anyways, those are my opinions, and this is an issue that's very timely and which we can all act on this. Well, sorry, I keep forgetting YouTube is an international audience. Citizens of the United States can act on this by writing to their senators and congressmen and telling them to support the new Green Deal.